Hey guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about my full coverage everyday go-to foundation routine. My foundation that stays on all day long without having to touch up. If you're new here, I'm so glad that you stopped by. If this is your first time, this is my first time as well. This is my first YouTube video. I hope you guys enjoy and I hope you stick around. So if you want to know how to get this full coverage everyday foundation routine, then just keep on watching. Okay, so this is what I normally do to do my foundation every day. Most of the time, products usually change back and forth, but I usually keep the same routine because I know it works and I know this is going to stay on all day long. So first we're going to start off with a little bit of primer. We've got the Farsali Unicorn Essence. I love this because it has the antioxidants in it and it helps my makeup stay on. And I just really like the way it feels and the way it smells. So we're just going to put a little bit on the cheeks. This always reminds me of all of those Instagram videos that you see when you put it on. So we're just going to rub it in. I usually let that sit for just a couple of minutes just so I don't like pile on products, so the first product has a chance to kind of get into my skin and dry a little bit. So next I like to go in with my NYX color corrector. You guys see it for the lights. This is going to really help with the dark circles that I have under my eyes. So I go in with this peachy tone right here because it's going to cancel it out. So if you want to use things for color correction and you have, say, redness, you would look at the other side of the color wheel, which would be a green color, and it would cancel the redness out. So since I have a little bit of darkness, not a lot, but just a little bit under my eyes, I'm going to use this salmon color to cancel it out. And I just put it on with my finger. And then I take my Real Technique sponge and I just blend it in. Next, I'm going to go in with a little foundation, and this is a totally optional process that you can do. This is the Maybelline Instant Rewind. I learned this from James Charles. Thank you, sister. And it helps keep my foundation on my nose. So if you don't want to go for that full coverage foundation look, you can totally skip this step. But I find that my foundation comes off my nose the most, and sometimes I'll just go ahead and put it on my eyes because I'm not a big eye primer person, so I just use this to prime my eyes for my eyeshadow. So we're just going to go in and blend this out, and you'll find that it covers really well, and it takes some of this. Since I have a lot of freckles on my face, it will blend it out better and hide the freckles better. And I just go over my eyes as well. I've loved this trick ever since I learned it on YouTube from James Charles. This is amazing, but you don't have to do it. I'm just extra like that. I like the coverage. So next we're going to go in with our foundation. I am using the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Foundation in the color 230. So what I like to do is, since I pretty much know how much I'm going to use, I'll just go ahead and dot it all over my face, just like this. On the other side. I really like this foundation. When I first got it, I wasn't too sure about it, but the more I used it, the more I really liked it. And when I ran out, I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta go back and get some more. And just depending on how much you want, how much coverage you want, is how much you would apply. So I like a pretty big amount of coverage. All right, then I'm just going to take my Real Technique sponge and I'm just going to blend it out. In no particular order, I just always start at the bottom and then work my way around. I had to turn the air conditioner off to film, and it is hot in here because it's one of those old window units and it's so loud. But it works. It will freeze you to death. I'm gonna have to get like one of those Dyson fans that you can't hear hardly at all to turn on when I'm filming. And you just keep blending and blending. And try not to get it in your hair. I did wash my hair today, so that's why I'm not pulling it back, because I don't want it to get a big crease in it, you know, like when you pull it back in a ponytail and it gets that big crease in it. Because I don't wash my hair every day. And you just keep blending, make sure that you get it way up there in that hairline. And another tip that a lot of people don't know is you want to blend it down your neck and over your ears, because that is a part of your face as well. And you don't want to have that makeup line, that dreaded makeup line. I remember probably having that when I was in high school. I used to use Merle Norman, and I remember it being really thick. And I'm thinking, like, nowadays I'll think back and I'm like, oh my God, how awful did my makeup look? Because I would just like cake it on and cake it on. I need to find some old pictures, which I'd be really scared to see. Make sure that you get in the creases of your eyes here, and especially around that nose. And I do take my time blending it out. I do love this process of watching your face go from, you know, spots and freckles and discoloration, and then now it's like all one solid color. It's like such a satisfying feeling. Does anybody else get that, or is it just me? I'm sure. What is in my hair? Fuzz. So now we've got our foundation on. Now I'm going to go back in with the concealer, and this is not for spot correcting or anything like that. I use this mainly to highlight. So I'm also going to take my Age Rewind again from Maybelline. I'm in the color Ivory. This is a couple of shades lighter than my foundation, and I'm just going to highlight just a little bit. Just right there. I don't necessarily highlight my forehead because I'm a little bit older and I don't want to, you know, exaggerate any kind of wrinkles that I have. So I do leave that blank. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, but it just depends. And I'm going to go in and blend that out with the same Beauty Blender. I pretty much do this. I don't wear makeup every day, but when I do wear makeup, this is the routine that I do for my foundation, because I find that it works the best and it stays on the best. I can put it on at like 6 o'clock in the morning and come home at night and get in the bathtub about 8, I guess, and my makeup still look flawless. Like, I don't touch my face, and that's one key thing that a lot of people want to know. Like, how do I keep my makeup from staying on? Like, don't touch your face during the day. Like, a lot of people want to prop their hands on their face or, you know, stuff like that. But I have made myself learn not to touch my face, because I also think that prolongs your makeup as well when you don't have your hands all over it. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to set the foundation. One of the most important things you can do is set your foundation, because you always want to make sure that it's going to stay. So now that I have like a cream product on, I'm going to set it with a powder. You can use any kind of powder. Most of the time I will use the Laura Mercier translucent powder. And then I've also started using the Hourglass Veil translucent powder. Today I'm going to use the Hourglass. So we're just going to open it up, and I do use my sponge as well. Let me tap. It says you're supposed to turn it over and like tap it, and like the product's supposed to come out and be the amount that you need, but I don't always find that that works. Like, that was a good idea in theory, but yeah. So I just pour it back in to the container right there. So then I go ahead and take my sponge, and my sponge is damp. And I will take this and I will just set right underneath my eyes to make sure that that concealer doesn't crease. Right there. Do the same thing on the other side. I don't bake that long. I do leave this one on more, but not like all the time, like while I'm doing my eyeshadow. And then I just take a little bit of extra and set the rest of the face. This powder is really good. It has like a small, very small, like sheer sheen, like luminosity to it when you put it on your skin. I really do like it. I have to be careful with a lot of the translucent powders, because they'll leave like I feel like they leave like a white cast on my face. But this one has a small, like yellowish tint to it, almost like a banana powder, I would think. And it really works well on my skin. So make sure that you set that nose, because we do have a lot of concealer and a lot of product on it. So I just keep going till I think everything is gotten covered. And then I'll go back in and tap that under eye out from where we put that makeup on, the powder on. And I go over my my eyelids as well, because I did put that primer on before, the concealer on before, and you want to set it with a powder, because I don't use eyeshadow primers. I use the concealer as my primer, so I go ahead and put the translucent powder over my eyes. And you just pat till your heart's content. You just keep patting, 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 patting. Now, so everything looks set. You can kind of see the difference in my skin from when we began. This foundation is going to stay on all day long. If you keep your hands off of it, you make sure that you set that. If you're using a liquid foundation like I did with the Fenty, you always want to set it with a powder. So this is my everyday foundation routine. This is what I do 99% of the time. Sometimes I'll change up the products, but the process is pretty much always the same. So I'm going to go ahead and put the rest of my face on, and I'm going to put my eyes and my eyebrows and finish up my makeup look, and I will be back in a moment. So this is the finished look. So I went ahead and put on some bronzer, some blush, little mascara, went ahead and finished my makeup off like I normally would. This foundation will stay on until I decide to take it off tonight. So usually I put it on at 6 in the morning, about 8 o'clock at night I take it off, and it looks great all day long. So if you like what you see and you like this video, please hit the subscribe button down below and hit that notification bell if you want to be notified whenever I do any more videos. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you next time.